More analysis now on the impact of this disaster. I'm joined here at the desk by Tim Harcourt, the airport economist, also from the University of New South Wales. Tim, thank you for your time.
Thanks for being here.
298 lives lost. The impact of this disaster is enormous, not only on the families, relatives, but it goes much further than that as we kind of await what the full international response is going to be, and also look at the ramifications for Malaysia and for so many other countries. Initially, what was your reaction on hearing this? Mine was total disbelief.
Yeah, it was real shock, real wake and fright today. And as you say, 298 lives, Dutch, Indonesian, Malaysian, and of course now 28 Australian. So a real international tragedy. And I think you're right. I mean, it's the human tragedy that we concentrate on today. And for poor Malaysian Airlines, gee, what a year, you know, having the loss of the aircraft, the mystery, and now having this, this impact of flying over a war zone and being shot down. So quite something to absorb, I think, for all of us.
In terms of Malaysia Airlines and Malaysia itself, how do you see this disaster impacting the airline and the country, particularly on the back of the disappearance of MH17?
Well, I think, Selena, airlines going down, airlines being hurt, are not purely financial issues. I mean, airlines are flag carriers. When people around the world think of Australia, they think of Qantas. BA, British Airways for Britain, Lufthansa, KLM, Malaysian Airlines, Singapore Airlines, you name it. It's very important to have a flag carrier. For an economy like Malaysia, that 30 years ago was a developing country, they're now a middle-income country, substantial middle-income country in Asia. This is a big deal because they were so proud of having an international carrier that could take citizens from the bottom of Australia all the way over to Europe, and for them it was a great source of pride. So one thing we saw with MH17 was a lot of people thought it was an inside job, a political job, to hurt the Malaysian state. Now in this case, again, questions are coming up about the decision, whether economic or otherwise, to fly over that region in eastern Ukraine, and that in some ways impacts on Malaysian competence, Malaysia's brand, as well as the airline's importance. So that's why we're watching this impact so carefully.
Malaysia Airlines says that it had clearance, the United Nations aviation arm had cleared this route, and indeed other airlines were flying near and in the vicinity.
That's quite right, and Singapore Airlines, as I understand it, was 2 hours behind Malaysian Airlines, and to be fair to Malaysian Airlines, that's what they would say. I mean, international aviation has international standards, they have treaties, they have instructions that they give all airlines. It's an internationally regulated safety system. So, Qantas flies over Afghanistan and Iraq all the time. So they would feel pretty unlucky to have been cleared to fly over that space in an area that was tense, but there was no evidence of rockets. They weren't flying over Gaza with the dispute with Israel. They were flying over eastern Ukraine, which was tense, but there was no evidence that they could have been forewarned of that a plane was going to be shot out of the sky.